So here we are in the corner of the kitchen. This is where our sick bay is. I'm quarantined. This is my new dilute male. Now, I went on a long drive to go see a champion breeder to get him. He's not as big as Phantom was, but crucially, this bird is dying of starvation. He should weigh probably 60 grams. He's not a huge bird, but he's tallish. He weighs 44 grams. He's not a huge bird and he's way, way underweight. So one of the things I've discovered is if a breeder will sell you a bird, that means it's not a good bird. Especially if they're selling you babies. They're largely going to sell off all of their secondary stock and keep the very best ones. So how do you ever get any decent stock to start your breeding program? Well, one of the things I figured out is that breeders are always retiring birds. So they have a bird that they feel is bred out or has given them everything that they hope to get from that bird, and they're ready to be rid of them. These are high quality birds. The breeder kept this bird and bred it for several seasons. So that's what this is. Retired birds. Now, the risk with that, of course, is maybe they're bred out. These birds are between 3 and 5 years old. These three right here. This guy is 3 years old as well. He was pulled from a nest where he had had a bunch of viable eggs, and the hen hatched 2 of them, and then went off the nest and started chasing him around the cage to try and get rid of him. So he pulled him and put him in a community cage with retired birds. These guys, the lace-wing girl, last time she bred, she destroyed all her own eggs, which they usually do when they're infertile. And the blue and the gray-green are both males, and the last time they bred, all the eggs were infertile. So, now all these birds are between 3 and 5 years old. So the first thing I discover when I bring them home is, in spite of the fact that they look like they have fairly decent size, they are all so thin, it's frightening. I just weighed them. The little yellow female, she's not a big bird. She'll weigh 50 grams, 55 max when she's filled out, but she only weighs 42 grams right now. The green one is frighteningly underweight, just like my dilute up here. He weighs 48 grams. He should weigh 60 to 65. The only one that has any kind of weight on him at all is the blue one. But even him, he weighs 54 grams, and he's going to be a 65 gram bird. So he's at least 10 grams underweight, and he has a bouncing tail. As you can see, they're eating. So what's going on with this crew? How come they're so completely depleted from a champion breeder, right? Well, one of the things that I hung out with a guy for a while, one of the things that he pointed out was all the supplements that he gives these birds. And when I went there, he had a big tray of soft food in all of the big flight cages and no seed. And I said, well, where's their seed? He said, well, I want them to eat the supplement, so I'm holding back the seed. Now, I can't say that I'm an expert. He's a champion breeder, but I just bought some very, very spent and depleted birds from him. So what I'm going to guess is that he is overdoing the supplements and undersupplying the food. So the first thing I did was pound some calcium into him, because there's all kinds of supplements that can bind with calcium and keep the bird from being able to access it. So it looks like I need to put another food bowl in here. These birds have no idea what spray millet is. I put those 2 sprays in there yesterday, and if they've eaten any of it, I can't even tell. But they sure are hungry for that seed. So I'm just keeping them tanked up. I have to keep refilling that bowl. So, but supplements, okay, so there's probably about 8 or 10 vitamins and a half a dozen minerals that are in most vitamin supplements. Here's the thing, about half of them are toxic if you give them in too high of a dose. A lot of them will cancel each other out, so if you give both an iron supplement and a calcium supplement, the iron will bind to the calcium and your body won't be able to extract any of it. So what I'm going to guess is he showed me at least 10 different kinds of supplements that he was giving, including literally a squirt bottle full of iodine that he was squirting into the food. It's like, dude, iodine is poisonous if you give them too much. You're supposed to be getting tiny little trace quantities of that stuff, not whole squirts of it. So I did not say that to him because he's a champion and he would consider me impertinent. But I do know a little something about nutrients and nutrition, and I'm going to guess that the main reason these birds are underweight is not because they're actually sick, but because he's supplemented them into basically kind of poisoned them. So I'm giving them calcium because they have the shivers. That's another thing. I sat there and looked through all of his cages, and I saw so many birds shivering from a lack of calcium. So he's giving them a calcium supplement, but he's clearly giving them something else that's binding it up so the birds can't access it. So I'm giving them their calcium. I doing a 3-day stretch, and then they'll go to every second day with clear water in between. I gave them some electrolytes because they're so thin, it's just horrendous. And I thought maybe they're dehydrated. And I'm just giving them straight food. Seed and vegetables. I'm not mixing any supplements into it or anything like that because I think they have had too much. So I'm hoping I can get these birds back into condition so I can breed them. This guy is supposed to breed to Hyacinth. Clearly that's not going to happen right now. He's so underweight, it's frightening. It's amazing that he's even standing on that perch. And one of the things that was going on is he got pulled from a cage where he had babies in the nest. So he was in feed babies mode. Then he put him into a cage with these guys, and the green male here had him feeding him. So he was not eating any food for himself, he was feeding this green guy over here. So that's why I had to pull him and put him in a separate cage to get him until his hormones switch and he stops trying to feed everybody and starts letting the food stay inside of him because he needs it desperately. Okay, so I will probably take this blue guy here and breed him to Cloud, who I tried with Bubba, but anyway, so if I can get him back up to condition, I'll put him with Cloud, and I'll put this little lacewing together with this gray green. Okay, that's it.